Hi, today we're right outside the town of Ojai, California. Beautiful town. Holy moly. We're gonna hike up the Horn Canyon Trail. This takes us up to Topa Topa Mountain and Thatcher Creek. And here, growing on the pepper tree, the kind of yellow brownish stuff, it's called canyon dodder. Right up here, that's a parasite. He just grows on these trees. I've never seen him on a pepper tree though. Usually on buckwheat, some other plants. We have a lot of our inland oaks right here from the genus Quercus, of course. And we also have a lot of peppercorn trees. This comes from Peru. He's an invasive species, or he's planted for decorative purposes. And he's got these peppercorns here. And what you do with these peppercorns is the outside, you kind of eat the shell. It tastes sweet. The inside, you let it dry up, and you can put it in your pepper grinder, make pepper. Over here we have this really common shrub. This is called scale broom, or California broom sage, Lepidospartum squamatum. He's an Asteraceae. He gets these clusters of pretty yellow flowers. Here we have a Laurel sumac, right? The little guys with the taco shells. Okay, it's a sumac. He's related to poison oak, so sometimes he might give you a little itch if you're sensitive. He's got flowers that are already done, and taco leaves. We have our western sycamores. Here's another peppercorn, Ricinus Mule. Alright. We got little bunny ear sage, I call it. Cute little bunny ears, super soft. We're gonna find so many wonderful things out here. I think there's more birds out here than in the campground. So we're likely to see a bunch of woodpeckers, of course, maybe some robins, gnatcatchers. This guy here is California buckwheat, Eriogonum fasciculatum. He's got the clusters of leaves working up his stem. The cluster is called a fascicle, and that's how you get the name fasciculatum. All these things here, it's all laurel sumac. Here. So I think laurel sumac might be one of the dominant guys out here. Down in the wash, this is all western sycamore, species racemosa of our sycamores. There's a beautiful bloom here on our laurel sumac. Oh, okay. See, look at that little taco shell. Purple petioles, purple stems, long petioles. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, wow. Check this guy out. That's cool. That, my friend, that was a very bitchin' vulture. And you know what that was? That's a California condor. No. Huge vulture. No, it wasn't the California condor. It wasn't even a turkey vulture. I'm not really sure what kind of vulture it is, but I'll put it right here on the screen. You can tell. Okay, this guy here, he's our ricin plant. Ricinus communis. He's called castor oil bean. All right, and these are poisonous. You eat like 6 of these, you will die. That's how poisonous it is, because it's where you get ricin from. Like Breaking Bad. I think they had ricin in Breaking Bad. Okay, don't eat that plant. Don't eat that plant. All this wild grass up here, this is called California oatgrass. Xanthonia californica. Lots of little seeds. Native to California. It grows really wild up here. He's known as a perennial bunch grass, so he's always growing in these bunches. And down here we have some berries. This is called heatherleaf cherry, Prunus salicifolia. And the berries are called chokeberries because they have a huge pit. And the leaves look like European holly from the genus Ilex. That's how it gets its species name, salicifolia, which means heather-like leaves. It's got these beautiful leaves, and they'll curl like that. I think it's called holly-leafed cherry. And here are the cherries. And I wish I knew if these were edible or not. You know, let's see what they look like inside. See if I could open it up. Oh, he's got a big nut in there, a big pit, and let's see here. There we go. Anyway, if you eat this guy, it's called a chokeberry. He'll choke you. But I really think they're edible. But you got to peel off all the outer stuff.
The big nut.
Anyway, here we go. That's what the nut looks like. Just a big nut. All right. Wow, look at all these guys. Holy smokes. Got some more of our sagebrush. Here we have some black sage from the genus Salvia. So it's a true black sage. It's got these long leaves that come up here. And they're kind of darker on top and lighter on the bottom. I think very glossy like. We got the old flower heads that are seeding up here. Okay, so he kind of called a sage. Well, he is a sage, by the way, because he's salvia, right? And he's also he smells and he tastes like sage. Here's another little sumac. See, little taco shells. More berries from another. I call this a little hollyberry bush. Little berries here. Okay. And we're not even to trail yet. Wow, it's gonna be a long day. This little yucca here, this is our Lord's candle. He's small right now, but he'll send up a big shoot, about 8 or 9 or 10 feet tall, when he decides to bloom like this guy here. How about that? Okay. So he's related to like blue yucca, even the Joshua trees, Yucca brevifolia. So our Lord's candle, and this guy kind of throws out a Hail Mary stem, grows real tall, and up here you get buds of flowers and seeds come out, okay, like this, and then the stem will just fall to the ground, and that's the end of that plant. Here's another Peruvian peppercorn. Right here, peppercorns here. So if you use these peppercorns, you got to dry them out first, or they'll clog up your pepper grinder. So all around, we got these tall guys growing up here. This is called mule fat, Baccharis salicifolia, or Baccharis salicifolia. Long leaves, they're serrated, they're a little bit twisty. Okay, and they kind of alternate up the stem to the top. They come out like a little basal rosette on the bottom, and then they send out their individual stems. Here's a bigger one right here. So they'll get, I don't know, 12 feet tall. Tons and tons of stems, or trunks, if you want to call them that, coming out of the ground from one base. So check out this guy here on our broom sage, little butterfly. He's called an Ackman blue butterfly. He's about 1 inch wide, super tiny. You'll find him all over California, some parts of Nevada and Oregon. He loves hanging out on these flowering shrubs. Here we go. This guy here, he's called a California bordered plant bug, Largus californica, or largest californica. It's got black exoskeleton with orange edges. You see them all around the place up here. There you go. How about that? Little bug. Here's another one of our Lord's candles. All right. A little seed bud. And they'll open up and dry out, drop all the seeds. Here we got some bees on our California buckwheat. There he is, little honeybee. This guy's a great pollinator. Over here's a big avocado orchard. So out here in Ojai, you got avocados and citrus. And here we have a little avocado right here. Here we have our run-of-the-mill eucalyptus. So he's not native to California, but he's probably planted here. Here we have, who's this guy? He's got thorns on him. Ah, it's a Palo verde, right? Wow, so he's got no leaves because he sheds his leaves. He's got chlorophyll in his stems and branches, and that's how he does photosynthesis without leaves. So he's real common out in Yuma, Arizona, Phoenix, Maricopa County, down in Arizona. All right, this is our Palo Verde. And we also have all sorts of mustard growing up here. These are short pod mustard. All right, from Brassicaceae family, so like cabbage. And you find lots of bees. And you find little butterflies, and sometimes a little guy called a Bragata bug who likes to eat these guys. And this guy, everybody knows in our disturbed areas, this is sacred Daturum. All right, Daturum radii, or Datura radii. And he's a hallucinogen, and you don't want to eat him because it kind of fries your brain. These pretty flowers, you find them all along the roadsides. I don't know, out from Texas all the way to California. Kind of on freeway or Interstate 10 and 60 and those freeways. So they open up at night and then they close up in the day, so it's still before noon. So these guys will probably close up. This guy's, he'll open up tomorrow, tonight. Okay, so he's a Solanaceae plant. He's a nightshade. So he's really related to like tomatoes. Okay, but he's not good to eat. So just stay away from our sacred Datura. Right here. This shrub here is called a tobacco tree, or tobacco plant. He grows in all the disturbed areas out here. Okay. He's got tubular yellow flowers. So he's not the same tobacco like you smoke, you know, in your pipe or a cigarette. But he's related to them. And he does have a little nicotine tobacco in him. So if you want to smoke it, you could. But it's not as potent as like your Marlboro or your Salem, okay, or your Benson hedges. And he's fertilized this tubular way. Little hummingbirds will go in there, fertilize them. It's called a tobacco tree or tobacco plant. So out here in Ojai, we're right at the border between kind of the low area and the high area. So we have scrub jays here, and we do not have Steller's jays. But if you just go about 5 miles north or 8 miles north, they transition from these guys to Steller's jays. But they're just as noisy, and they're super smart. They love to collect acorns and store them in multitudes of different caches around. So in wintertime, he's got plenty of food for him to go around. Here we have a real thorny cactus on the trail. He's not a native. I think he's a Peruvian torch cactus, the Echinopsis peruviana. See, he's a single stem. He's got 6 barbs, 7, 8. He's got 8 little barbs and 1 long barb to protect it from little predators who would want to eat it, take all his nice water he's saved up. Now the trail has a lot of zigzagging, so just stay on the trail. You got to go through this little, rock quarry guy here. Up here's a corral for running horses. Up here's a little observatory, way up here. I bet it's a private observatory, who knows. The trail heads up here. It's all dirt, so it's pretty easy to walk. But right now it's really hot. I think it's about 80 degrees right now. So it's going to heat up to 95 here today, in the middle of July. Here's another one of our little beetle bugs. Here. Okay. And this kind of looks like poison oak. I don't know. It's really hard to tell sometimes. He's got these little leaves of 3. He's purple. He doesn't have any spines on him. So he might be poison oak. I never try to guess. I just kind of stay away. Well, sometimes I stay away unless there's something really cool. Like a little berry right there on our poison oak. Wow. Continue on the trail, Horn Canyon. Watch out for loose rocks, falling trees and limbs, flash flooding, debris flows. And portions of the trail are damaged or blocked with debris. How about that? Look at all these berries on this guy. Okay. Wow. Unbelievable. And this guy here is down here. He's sort of like a weed. I mean, almost like a dandelion anyway. The seeds just poof, right off. Poison oak. Poison oak. And more seeds. And here's a full bush here. Lots of seeds on top. One long stalk to the bottom. Okay, leaves, they alternate up the stem like in a whorl, kind of twirl around till you get to the flowers, and now of course the seeds that kind of puff off and fly around. Hey, we found this cool bone here. It's all hollowed out from marrow. There's a little joint on top. He fits here like an ulna, like in your arm, and he helps run through. So maybe this is like a bobcat or some sort of little guy. This tree-like shrub here, this is called Southern California black walnut. He only grows in Southern California. Okay, he's got like bipinnate leaves. Here's the leaf. And the little leaflets, they alternate a little bit going up. They're a little longer. And they're serrated. And here we have the fruit. Right here. Okay. He's not very good. I've tasted this guy before. No, this is called a black walnut. See? Look at that black walnut there. California black walnut. Okay?
Oh, Grandpa's favorite.
Well, it's a California variety, so he's got these. Right, he's bipinnate. He's got these leaflets here that are real long. And they flutter. So, this guy in wintertime, he'll lose all his leaves and he'll look totally dead, like we have here. Just like this, really ugly looking. But he'll come back in kind of like late spring, and he gives us those walnuts I just showed you. And they're edible. You can crack them and eat them. I'm not a black walnut guy. Here we go. Another one here. But they are edible. It's called California, or really it's called Southern California black walnut, because there's a Northern California variety as well. So here's our black walnut, and he's very unleaved right now, coming out. He's really dark, black, almost looks like he's dead. Hey, along the trail we got some California quail. Calipepla californica. So his head, it's only got 6 feathers. They stick out of the top of his head. And the males are a little bit brighter and shinier than the females. It's always hard to tell unless they're side by side. This guy here looks like a male, I'm gonna guess. Of course, they're super social birds. They hang out together. They always prefer to run into the brush than fly away. And we also have our chamise, chamizo, or greasewood. All those words work. And Anastoma fasciculatum. And he's got little fascicles of leaves grow up the stem. Fascicles called a cluster or bundle. And here are all the little seeds we get. And the seeds will need a fire to help propagate it. But he also propagates from little tubers at the root burrows or just at the roots. And he'll send those out, and if there's a fire, it cleaves this whole thing down. Those little tubers will grow into a new plant. And we have a new plant here. This is called a Billardia, or Mediterranean lineseed. Billardia trichago. These are little flowers. Okay, they will come up all the way up the stem as it spikes to the top. We get these seeds here. All right. And the leaves, I'll pull one out. These are really sticky and they're a little hairy on the stems and the leaves. And that's all to help reduce evaporation, transpiration. Okay, it's almost like it has no petiole. The leaves are directly connected to the stems. And it's super sticky. So don't be touching these plants if you don't want sticky fingers. And we have another Billardia here. This guy has some flowers on him. He's got little purple flowers right at the end here. Okay, and the flowers they bloom on the way up to the top of the stem. Sometimes you get them in tandem, right? Right next to each other, more or less. And they're blooming here. And this guy, super sticky. Jeez. Gotta wash my hands. Anyway, look how pretty this place is. Ojai. Ojai's got to be one of the top 10 places to live in the United States, if not almost around the world. It's perfect out here. The climate's great. Plants are wonderful. Lots of solitude, outdoor hiking. Okay. Another one of our little chokeberry hollies. Don't choke on these berries here with the big pits. Here, this little white butterfly, this is a checkered white butterfly, Pontia protodice, and you usually find them on our mustard plants. So this shrub here, this is a California bay laurel, Umbellularia californica. Has these smooth-edged, lance-shaped leaves, dark on top, a little lighter on the bottom. He's very fragrant, smells like camphor. Here on the slope here, this is called Western Mountain Mahogany. It's got really hard wood, like mahogany wood. Okay. Let's see. All right, here we go. He's going through a fire and he's just hard as a rock. Great mahogany plant. And see the leaves, well, he's kind of on the way out. or he's dormant. But leaves over here. Okay. Really soft, ovate leaves. A little bit waxy, so they're light on the bottom. And not so much on top. He's got a bunch of roots or stems or trunks that come out from the root base. Okay, Western Mountain Mahogany. This little plant here, kind of like a cross between a toyon and mule fat. This is called thick leaf yerba santa, Eriogonum crassifolium. Okay, there's a little fuzzy on top. Now see the little fuzziness. On the bottom, he's got well-defined central vein and then little veins coming off. It's funny, so the veins going this way are straight. The veins going this way are all like twisty and kind of multi-connected. See if I find another one that has the same pattern, which is kind of cool. All right. This one here is just a straight palmate, so maybe it's just a little anomaly. Anyway, this guy here is also very leathery. Okay, he's very crunchy. He's got little flowers and seeds, and he comes out of the ground, kind of a central stalk that then branches out, multi-branching to get this plant here. I don't think it's very pretty though, but it's still part of our little chaparral community we have up here, up in the woodlands. So this plant here, okay, he's called a coffeeberry. He's got little coffee berries on him. He's got purple stem, little purple petioles, lance-like leaves, little glauca on the bottom, a little darker on top. And he grows all alongside all of our sumacs, our toyons. Okay, so here's a toyon here. Okay, here we go. Kind of looks like the other bush, but these leaves are really stiff. And they're serrated. They're lance-like. His genus is Heteromilles. He's a toyon. Darker on top, a little glossier on the bottom. Okay, he's a little thin, but he grows from multiple branches or trunks out of the ground here. He comes up like this giant shrub. So he's all serrated, but he's intermixed with this guy here, who's not serrated. So sometimes these plants get all mixed together. So we have a little stream, a creek. Here's a little tarantula hawk. This one's got little blue wings. They like to hunt tarantulas and then paralyze them, drag them into their den, and then lay eggs inside of it. Here we have a bee. Right? Looks like a little honeybee. And
those are sticky monkeys, those orange flowers.
yeah. This guy here is a flowering perennial scarlet monkey flower. How about that? Oh, anyway, don't pull these off, just so I can do it. He's got these beautiful flowers. He's got 3 little, we'll call them petals, fold down. Okay. He's got one folds up. He's got his little stamen, anther, pollen right on top. And he's super inviting for a hummingbird just to come down here. He might even perch on the petal or the sepal and take a drink. Okay, so he almost kind of looks like a honeysuckle the way he's set up. So up the trail farther, we have our western sycamores, chamis, it's all chamis, laurel sumac. Here's another funnel-shaped orange flower, and this guy is a California fuchsia, Epilobium canum. So here's our flower. All right, we got super high protruding stamens. All right, wow, he's really pretty. Okay, he's got these small little leaves, just like our chamise and our buckwheat. So it's really, co-evolution out here. Smaller, tinier leaves. They help with reducing evaporation and living out here in the harsh environment with very little water and very high temperatures. He's really glauca colored, but he also gets a little purple here too on this stem. Okay, he's a single stem out of the ground, and he comes up here to these pretty flowers. Over here too. Wow. Okay. So this really high shrub, see that? Almost looks like bamboo. But we can take a closer look, find out. And this plant is actually a small growing eucalyptus shrub. Alright, well, it's got these long lance-shaped leaves. They're very smooth on the margin, or the edges, super smooth. Almost like a koala would want to eat it. It's very green on the new growth. A little darker on the other growth, but you can see the bark peel it off. He's green underneath. He's got multi-branch, or lots of stems or trunks coming out of him as he grows up. He's got smooth bark here, and the older guys are rougher. Really solid. Let me see here. Well, I'll tell you what though. Yeah. I was going to say they're two different plants, but it's the same. It grows way up here. Holy smokes. Here's another one of our black walnuts. Growing in. He's got these kind of multi-branch, meshy, trunk and branches. He's got walnuts growing on him. So here's one of our aspens out here. He's just waves at you. Shiny, not shiny, shiny, not shiny. Okay, he's a poplar, like a cottonwood. So this main trail has little offshoots. This is Elmore. There's another one we passed.
Birch.
Called birch, that's right. Okay. Another sycamore. So we'll go down here. I'm not sure how far, but we're still going to keep walking. So we have another creek here. We'll find a little bug. Oh, we got a little wasp-looking guy. Okay. Same old kind of stuff. No fish that I can see. We might find a little pollywog, a frog or a toad, but I see nothing moving here except some little flies. Oh, we have a damselfly. There's a little damselfly here. He's not a dragonfly. He's a damselfly because he keeps his wings upward. And dragonflies, they keep their wings downward. There's here too. Oh, okay. There he goes. Usually you'll find him down in the creek, holding hands with other damselflies. Here we have a little white flower growing in a vine. This is a type of morning glory. He's called a Maremia umbellati. And you find him up here a lot, but he's really an invader from Polynesian islands. Alright, so he's got 5 petals here. Oops, and they're fused together like a cup. Alright, so they're not individual. And they got the little stamen, the anther, and all the little reproductive parts down there. He sits in this little cup, and he grows all along this vine. And you'll get flowers. There's some flowers here, and they'll work themselves up to the top. Here's another plant. Sort of reminds me of artichoke thistle. called cliff aster, or desert dandelion. Malacothrix saxatilis. Okay, he's got these like artichoke, almost like artichoke-like leaves. See how they stick out like this? Oh yeah, the sun. They stick out like this, and they're a little spiny. But they don't hurt, they're not spiny, like a artichoke thistle. They give us these pretty flowers. They work themselves up the stem. There you go. He's got tons and tons of petals. Beautiful little anther and pollen. And the bees love them. There's a little bee here. Oops. He flew away. So he bushes out like this. Real brushy and messy. But he gives us these little flowers, so that's cool. Here's another toyon. Heteromeles arbustifolia. And he's giving us these flowers. They'll turn into berries around November, December. So he's going to look like a bunch of big holly berries, but he's not a true holly. That's just the name the Europeans gave him, a little nickname. Called a Christmas tree berry, or a Christmas holly, or a holly berry. Any variety of those guys, because they thought it was like a holly because of the beautiful red berries. Hey, up in this tree here, we have a phainopepla. He's a black bird with a little crown on top of his head. Oop, there he goes. Up here we have another pretty little flower. This is called wire lettuce. Stephanomeria pauciflora. He's a California native. Right. He's got 6 petals. And he's got little stamen and anthers. This guy here has 5 petals. So we get a little variety of different sizes. And this guy, he's kind of a standalone little flowering guy. And this little bird here, this is a lesser goldfinch. This one here is a male. He's got a little black cap on his head. He's real common in our chaparral. Hey, check this out. This is a little rose-breasted grosbeak, or grosbeak. This one here is a juvenile or a female. And the males are super pretty with beautiful black, white, red color patterns. Way up here, this is a Lawrence goldfish. Oh, there he goes. Here we have an old flowering caterpillar fascilia. Fascilia cycutaria. So if you look at his flowers here, he's got little seeds all through up here. And now they're not blowing away, but it looks like they'll blow away a little bit. Here we have our cacti. Okay, these are prickly pear cacti from the genus Opuntia. And I'm going to just guess they're coast prickly pears. But I could be wrong. They're always so hard to identify. Let's get way up there and look at the needles. Anyway, it's from the genus Opuntia. So this black walnut guy, he's got a little fungus growing on him. A little fungus right there. Kind of growing on him. Got some more over here. Let's see. Here's a good one. All right. This is our run-of-the-mill coastal sagebrush, Artemisia californica. He's pretty much a staple throughout all California chaparral environments. And you'll find them all over the place up here. So on the rocks, you always find lichen. This is like a fungus, algae guy. Yellow, little orange, white. And over here we got some more. Okay. He just grows on the rocks, and then he helps erode the rocks away with his tiny, tiny little roots.
About a mile.
So we walked about a mile. Took about an hour and 45 minutes because we stopped everywhere. We're going to stop here and head back. These are all oak trees. These are all Quercus agrifolia. They're really, really tall. This guy's got holes in him. And maybe somebody lives in there. Like an acorn woodpecker. He's got a great little hole right up here. Oh. And more beautiful oaks. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. From Ojai up here at the Horn Canyon. Bye.